Yo, this video right here is I'm talking about. I'm covering the topic of when you young and rebellious and robust. They don't like that, and so what they do is they got schools for young people. I'm gonna give you an example. One of my favorite rappers is Nas, right? And when Nas came out, he was young. He said, "When I was 12, I went to hell for snuffing Jesus." And then he also said, "Fuck Gandhi and Martin Luther King." But he was right. Then he get older, and after all of this life and everything, life experiences, whatever, now all of a sudden he's not saying that no more. But when he was young, he was right. He was on the right path. See, when young people come out, they rebellious because they already know that this is full of shit, everything. So they got to go throw them in school and all this kind of shit. And they don't want to go to school because they know this shit is bullshit. They know it is. So the kid knows instinctually what's shit and what's not shit, right? So what happens is they start making the kids, they start training them, look, do this, you got to do this, you got to do that. And so then they become different when initially when they was the rebel that they was for real, that was who they was supposed to be. But they intercepted that and say, "Who's this kid that say when I was 12 I went to hell for snuffing Jesus?" And then we gonna work on him. And now he ain't saying that no more. He love Jesus and all this shit. I ain't really tripping about the religious thing. I'm not tripping on Jesus. I'm just saying when you young, you do know, especially when you get books and you got books and education, you know that shit is wild bullshit. And he knew it back then too. But what he did was he got money, he got all this shit. Now it's all I'm thankful. No, that shit is fucked up, just like how it was. It don't matter. When you was a kid, you said the truth. When I was a kid, I said the truth too. I was like, man, mama, how you gonna pay these bills, man? Well, these bills is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I was only 6, 7 looking at shit like that. I was already thinking ahead of my time because I already knew. And I opened up the Bible at the age of what, 6, 7, 8. And I looked in Genesis and I was like, man, this shit is bullshit. This shit don't make no sense. Then I'm still saying it. So why was I saying it back then? Because what your instinct as a child is, you really not in tune with this world yet because you haven't been trained fully. So if you're not in tune with this world 100%, you're not giving a fuck. So what happens is you got a lot of young people not giving a fuck, and instead of them being trained on the real science and the real shit of what's going on in the world, they being trained on being like everybody else. So that when you was a kid and once you were that young, robust, rebellious child, now you're just conforming with everybody else and saying what everybody else saying. And see, because they wanted to get rid of that. See, the whole thing about Tupac was that he was still being that child, that robust, rebellious type of motherfucker. So he had to go because it was like, okay, we can't break this nigga to be an average ass motherfucker to sit up here and go, the Lord and all this old shit and everything and be all in this weak ass shit. So since we can't do that, um, we gonna kill this nigga because this nigga is he's not conforming to what we want him to be. So we gotta kill him. That's what it is. And a lot of people conform to what they end up conforming, and when they conform, they lose a lot of themselves and they become something else, and they're not that once that person no more because they didn't say, okay, I ain't saying fuck Jesus, I ain't saying challenging things, controversial things. They won't say it no more because they didn't turn into a chump. And that's what happened. And I love my rappers. I love some of my rappers, but I don't love them personally. I like some of the MCs. I like Nas. I like that. But when he came out, he was the real motherfucker. But when you start getting money, I guess you start going, oh yeah. But that was the real. All those books and all that shit. That's the real shit. All this shit out here is bullshit. But see, motherfuckers know that, and yet they still gotta have money. I gotta have $80 billion or whatever, man. You saying you building an empire for who? Your kids? You ain't got that many. So what you doing? It's like, to me, motherfuckers is not gonna compromise um, themselves uh, because they sellouts. A lot of motherfuckers is sellouts and they don't even know it. Like, for instance, anytime you watch the motherfucking news, you selling out. You know why? Because the news is the CIA. The news, the media was formed by George Bush Sr. George Bush Sr. was the CIA director. And he decided that he wanted to implement the CIA into the news. So every time you watch the news, you watching the CIA. So why the fuck am I watching the news? Fuck it. That's why I don't watch it. Unless I love the CIA and the FBI and shit, okay, then I'll watch the news. But I ain't watching that shit because I know the history of the fucking media. It's the fucking law. It's the goddamn cops. So then I don't watch it. So then you got Facebook. Facebook is the FBI. TikTok is the fucking feds. And Instagram is the feds too. So why motherfuckers getting on there talking all this shit, then wonder how come the feds know? Because the feds is Instagram, the feds is TikTok, the feds is Facebook, the feds is all that social media shit. The fucking cops is all of that. So if you want to be on that shit, then you love the cops. That's why I'm not on that shit, because I don't like police. So that's why you won't see me on no social media, because social media is the fucking cops. You won't see me on that. Yeah. And plus, I ain't got a good history anyway. Well, a lot of other shit. So I don't need to be seen anyway. So motherfuckers, they swear they law, but they going and they get right on to the FBI, which the CIA, all that news shit. I don't watch the news. I don't fuck with social media. I find out shit the way I find it out. Because motherfucker, I ain't dealing with them. And then motherfuckers get on their cell phones, be talking, doing all kinds of shit. Then when they go to court, the motherfucker got their text messages, their phone records, they all this shit because they think they live in a just world where government is gonna not listen to everything you say on your stupid ass phone and your goddamn text messaging. So you might as well, if you're gonna commit crimes, just don't even use no phone. Motherfucker, you gotta go meet up. That's it. And you gotta talk in code. That's how you do. You gotta talk in code. You can't be on no phone. None of that. And if a motherfucker wearing a wire, then it's time for his life to expire. That's how we used to do back then. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this is a video about the young generation and how they blind as fuck because they looking at all this FBI, CIA, social media shit. It's all the motherfucking cops. All that shit. So motherfucker, the cops beating on people. Yeah, well, you all on their goddamn social networks. The cops, the FBI is all the social media shit. So why the hell you on social media? You must want to be a police officer then. All right, peace, man.